Hey everyone, it's Jennifer Sanchez. So I'm like, let me go live real quick. I was out today celebrating another investor's birthday. Rada, happy birthday. Want to make sure I give her a shout out. This week I did a little bit of birthday celebration myself. So kudos to me. And I think if people don't really know me, a lot of people don't know that I really feel that birthdays are super important, right? I love my birthday. I really do. It always was a big deal to me, my birthday. So I was like, okay, you know what? Ever since I've gotten divorced, I've always made it a point to do something for my birthday, celebrate my birthday in some way, whether it's celebrating it with friends, with business people that I'm friends with the women in my community, right? My family, like birthdays are a big deal for me. So if you guys still want to hang out with me for my birthday, let me know. I'm still down to hang out for my birthday, which I might be putting something together for the ladies. We will see. But yeah, I'm still taking in birthday celebrations. So feel free to reach out to me if you want to take me out. But so I wanted to jump on because one, I wanted to talk about the access, right? I haven't done a video in a while, but I think valuing our time, right? So super critical as an entrepreneur. And sometimes we forget how time is a currency. And if we don't manage our time correctly, and in the sense of who gets access to your time, right? That could be a big deterrent, right? It could actually get you off your path to wherever you're trying to go in life. So, I'm super excited because, it's 2024. I think this is my first official live by myself, not outside of the show, because you guys know I do every Monday. I do the coffee chat show, and I'm excited because I'm going to interview Latina boss babe herself, Diana. I'm going to bring her on the show, and I do have a sponsor for that show as well, which I'm super excited for the show that is going to happen tomorrow. So make sure you guys catch the show tomorrow at noon with me and Diana Beltran from Latina Boss Babes, because it's going to be a good one. Me and her just chopping it up. The one thing that I love in the Wise Coffee Chats is I love to highlight entrepreneurs, and I love to talk about their stories and what they're all about and why they do what they do. Feel free to go back to last Monday's show as well. I had Sebastian Gomez, and it was a great show because we discussed community and creating relationships and partnerships, and we dove deep. So I'm excited the conversation that I'm going to have with Diana on the show. So make sure you guys check out the show tomorrow. And then of course, right, I got to share that I'm bringing personal development workshops back. Like, that is a huge deal, you guys. Like, personal development, and I'm going to share a little story here. I started personal development workshops back in 2018. So before Wise was even, it was a concept years prior to that. I had the logo years before that, right? And I remember I was like, okay, I felt like, it was time. God was calling me to step into providing a space for women and provide workshops. And I remember also I built a curriculum where I was like, okay, these are all the topics that I'm going to put together that I really felt deep in my heart that are going to help women on personal development. Hey, Miss Rose, how are you? God bless you. Right? So I always felt like personal development is a huge thing for men and women. I've been doing personal development for years. So at some point, I feel like you got to put things into action and start implementing all the things that you've been learning for so long. But I know that, I started workshops in a coffee shop in Berwyn. I forgot what the coffee shop name was called at that time, but that's how I started all of this. It was like, okay, let me just put this event together. I think my first event was a vision board event in Berwyn, and I just invited a whole bunch of women to come out. And it was just, after that, it was history, right? And every month I would put together a workshop, and essentially it was content that I learned from my own coach, because at that time I was working with Dr. Carrie Ann Rockamore, who now has this massive organization, but she was at the University of Illinois, Chicago, and she was helping professors reach tenure. So I was taking her content, the thing that she would coach me on, and then I evolved it so it could be applicable to women in my community. And that's what I'm going to be doing now, is just bringing back workshops. I've done it for so many years. I stopped 2 years ago, literally 2 years ago, when I got into real estate. I put my personal development workshops on pause, because if you knew, I had conferences for women. I had workshops for women, specifically women only. And that's why the logo looks more feminine. It has the ruby and all of that stuff, right? And if for you guys that don't know, right, the reason why it's called Wise is because of the wisdom scriptures, right? I'm a big Bible girl. I love, and I like to party, but I love the Bible. So, I love Proverbs, and I love wisdom scriptures, right? I love wisdom. So that's why it's called Wise, the organization, right? That's why I called it that. So I just wanted to empower women. And I remember putting these workshops together, not really knowing what I was getting myself into in 2018, then doing retreats, then doing conferences, and then just developing this following of women and helping women get to the next level. And then, of course, women wanted to get into entrepreneurship after that. And that's where I started dabbling into the coaching and the entrepreneurship side of things. And then, of course, then I got into real estate. So now I am in the real estate realm. But with all of that being said, I'm launching workshops again. It's going to be at the Eco Shop in the south side of Chicago on 3300 West 63rd Street. It's the yearly planning session that I'll be putting together. It's from 12:30 to 2:30. So if any ladies wants to come out and they want to plan their year, please come to the workshop. Again, it's from 12:30 to 2:30. This Saturday coming up, the 25th, the day before my real birthday. My real birthday is the 26th, y'all. So if y'all want to take me out for my birthday, let me know, right? I'm still open for parties and events and gatherings. But, because my birthday, like I said, I really value my birthday. And for those that, again, my mom always made it a big deal growing up. Birthdays were a big deal for me. With my daughters, I make it a big deal for them. I put sashes and crowns on them, because it's your day, baby, your special day. So I really appreciate those that want to honor me on my birthday. And thank you for those that did come out on Thursday and hung out with me for my birthday. And, it was a good time. But, of course, right, I'm launching personal development workshops. I still have masterminds going. And of course, for my masterminds, if anybody wants to be part of that, let me know. But it is going to be an invite-only mastermind, where I'm specifically going to invite you one-on-one to be part of the mastermind, because I see that you have value and that you can learn something from it. And of course, if you can't, that's fine. Then I'll go on to the next person. But I have to have it at a cap, because it's kind of hard to do big masterminds. You have to keep them at small amounts. So masterminds, personal development workshops. But I really wanted to chime in, just valuing the time that you have as an entrepreneur, as a business person, as a person in general, right? And I was just telling this young lady right now, because of course, even though I'm celebrating somebody's birthday, I still have to coach someone, especially if I'm around another woman, right? I'm going to coach, right? And I'm gonna help someone out right here. And I was talking to this young lady, and I was telling her how, at the end of the day, you have to understand the value that you've poured into yourself, right? And for whoever's watching, maybe some of you guys have developed for many years. Maybe you guys have invested in yourself, right? For me to be a real estate investor, I've paid money to become a real estate investor, right? I pay to play, right? And a lot of the coaching that I've done, I've taken trainings, master programs, coaching certificates, right? Everyone pays to play. You have to invest in yourself, whether it's, again, years of coaching, years of training. You've been out in the field. You've been working, in the forefront. You've been front and center learning. And that is not, once you have all this knowledge, especially when you're a little more seasoned and been around for a while, you can't just let anybody come around here and and to have access to that, right? You have to vet them. And that's something that I'm learning right now. It's like, well, who has access, right? How much access are they going to get? And from there, make that decision of like, is this access because they're trying to learn? Is this access because what's the incentive of them hanging around with you, right? So you, whoever is watching, whether you're watching live or the replay, just really valuing what you bring to the table and understanding who you are as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a woman, right? Or a man, whatever, right? At the end of the day, that you bring value to whoever you're around. And once you understand the value that you have and the value that you provide others, that's when it's easy for you to decide, okay, this is the value that I have. This person is not reciprocating. This person's maybe not well-intentioned. Maybe it's just fumbling, right? Maybe it's just carelessness, right? Then you have to make that decision of, okay, I'm going to remove access or whatever that may be, because it's respecting yourself enough to understand the value that you bring to the table as a person, right? Because I know that whoever I'm masterminding with, whoever I'm networking with, if I'm hanging out with you, or if I choose, for example, to celebrate you, it's because I see something in you. If I choose to hang around with you, it's because I know that there's value here. There's an exchange of energy. There's an exchange of thoughts, right? And too many people, especially women, don't understand that the value that they have, and let anyone just take advantage of it and use it up as they wish, right? So once you know again, the knowledge that you have, like I have to understand and protect all the knowledge that I have, right? And understand that I've busted my ass to be where I'm at. I busted my ass to have what I have. It hasn't come to me easy. But at the end of the day, just really valuing what you have, because it's going to make it so much easier for you to make decisions on who am I going to partner with? Who am I going to come alongside? Who's going to be around me, come around my events? Who is going to have access to this, right? Because they're going to value you so much more. Think about it. Like, let's think about this. Like, fine wine, right? Like a wine or mezcal, because I'm Mexican, right? Mezcal, the better the mezcal is because it's been sitting, right, for years. Okay, like a bottle of mezcal, okay, it's a 50-year-old mezcal, or 60 or 70-year-old, or 100-year-old mezcal. The amount of flavor and the better quality it's going to be, right? It's going to be a lot better for whoever's going to consume it. And mind you, the value of that mezcal is going to be a lot higher when you have access to that mezcal. So then, but because of that alone, whoever buys that mezcal is not going to just take that mezcal and chug it and take shots of it, unless they have no idea what they're dealing with, right? Or even let's think of, top tier alcohol, right? A bottle that costs $200, $300, $400, whatever. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there, but I'm trying to make an analogy so that this makes sense. Someone that understands the value of what they're consuming, they're gonna appreciate it a lot more and not just chug that thing, right? They're going to savor it and enjoy it and value it, right? Like, you tell my dad to take a shot of mezcal, he's gonna be like, what is wrong with you? That is not how you drink mezcal. When you take mezcal, you take it slowly, you savor it, you enjoy it, because you know how long it took to make this mezcal. This mezcal took a while for it to be the mezcal that it is right now. So, with that being said, we have to treat ourselves the same way. It took years for you to process who you are. It took years for you to become the person that you are, the knowledge, the wealth, the investment, right? Whatever it's taken for you to be the person that you are now, you have to value yourself enough to understand that, man, like, whoever's going to be in my circle or around me will have to know that they have to value me, respect me, appreciate my knowledge, my wealth, my presence, because that person has invested in themselves so much, and the fact that I get to be around this person, I'm going to value it that much more. Same thing when I see entrepreneurs that I respect or admire. Like when I'm around an entrepreneur that I know that's busted their ass, they've grown this company, they're doing this, they're doing that, I'm going to respect and honor that person a lot much more and respect that relationship so much more because of how much I appreciate the fact that they're even taking time to spend time with me, especially when I was more green and I was still learning. Like if I knew that there was this big savvy entrepreneur that was hanging around me, I knew I was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna take advantage of this, because this is not an everyday thing to have access to someone of this caliber or this level around me. So we have to treat ourselves the same way and understand the value that you bring to the table to other people's lives is that much greater, right? Because of how much you've invested in yourself. And I know it's Sunday. I know people are not going to jump on and, you know, whatever. People are doing their thing. But I felt compelled to share this message today. And I hope that whoever's listening understands the same thing and sees it. Like this person or you or whoever, right? You have so much value to bring to other people's lives. Understand the value that you have, because it just makes it so much better. It's so much richer, so much nicer to be around people that you know that have all this value, and you can appreciate them so much more. So I wanted to just share this live real quick. Like I said, I was, celebrating another investor's birthday today, but I definitely hope that you guys, keep an eye out for my networking events, keep an eye out for my Wise Coffee Chat show, and also keep an eye out for women, specifically personal development. On Saturday, we're going to have a workshop on planning our 2025 year. So it's just going to be a 2-hour workshop in the south side of Chicago. And thank you for the Eco Shop for sharing their space. And of course, I want to thank Neighborhood Loans on Irving Park for sharing their space for the mastermind that we had yesterday. We had 7 entrepreneurs together, just getting down and dirty, figuring out what their goals are, what they're trying to meet, what are their needs that they need to get met. So it was a good time as well yesterday. So thank you so much, everyone watching or joining or watching the replay. Keep an eye out for the show tomorrow at noon, and we will talk to you soon. God bless you. Bye-bye.